King Ahasuerus ruled over Persia. His kingdom was vast. It stretched from India to Ethiopia. The king lived in a magnificent palace in the city of Susa. The palace glittered with gold and silver. Gardens filled with exotic plants surrounded it. Beautiful fountains splashed in the courtyards. The king's throne was a sight to behold. It was made of ivory and gold. Ahasuerus was a proud and powerful king. He loved to display his wealth. He threw lavish parties that lasted for days. Everyone knew of his love for extravagance. The entire kingdom marveled at his grandeur. One day the king decided to hold a grand feast. He invited all his nobles and officials. The Queen Vashti also hosted a banquet for the women. On the seventh day of the feast, the king was in high spirits. He sent for Queen Vashti. He wanted to show off her beauty to his guests, but Vashti refused to come. She defied the king's order. This enraged the king. He was humiliated in front of his guests. His advisors told him that Vashti's disobedience was a threat. They said she needed to be punished. Among the king's subjects lived a young Jewish woman named Esther. She was an orphan. She lived with her cousin Mordecai. He was a kind and wise man. He raised Esther as his own daughter. Esther was known for her beauty. She had a gentle heart and a wise mind. She was loved by all who knew her. Mordecai cherished her deeply. When the king sought a new queen, Esther was among the young women brought to the palace. Mordecai instructed her to keep her Jewish identity a secret. It was a dangerous time to be a Jew in Persia. The king was captivated by Esther's beauty. He was also drawn to her sweet spirit. He chose her to be his queen. Esther kept Mordecai's advice close to her heart. She did not reveal her Jewish heritage. Life in the palace was very different from what she knew, yet she adapted with grace and wisdom. She missed Mordecai dearly. He visited her as often as he could. He kept a watchful eye on his beloved cousin. He wanted to protect her from any harm. Section 5. Whispers of a plot. Mordecai, a man of keen observation, overheard a plot against the king. 2 royal guards were planning to assassinate Ahasuerus. Mordecai quickly informed Esther. Esther, without hesitation, alerted the king. She told him of the danger, crediting Mordecai for uncovering the plot. The conspirators were seized. They were punished for their treachery. The king was grateful to Mordecai. He had saved his life. However, the king was also forgetful. He did not immediately reward Mordecai. Section 6. The king's advisor. Haman was a proud and ambitious man. He was the king's chief advisor. The king had elevated Haman to a position of great power. He commanded everyone to bow before him. Mordecai, a devout Jew, refused to bow. He believed that such honor belonged only to God. Haman was furious. He was enraged by Mordecai's defiance. Haman discovered that Mordecai was a Jew. He decided to use this as an opportunity. He plotted to exterminate all Jews in the kingdom. His hatred for Mordecai would have deadly consequences. Section 7. A Queen's Dilemma. Mordecai learned of Haman's evil plan. He sent word to Esther, urging her to intervene. Esther was torn. She knew the danger of approaching the king uninvited. It was a risk she had avoided until now. But Mordecai reminded her, "Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" His words ignited a spark of courage in Esther's heart. She decided to act, knowing it could cost her life. She would appeal to the king. She would plead for her people. She would rely on her faith and her courage. Section 8. The King's Justice. Esther prepared a lavish banquet. She invited King Ahasuerus and Haman. The king, pleased by the gesture, asked Esther what she desired. This was the moment Esther had been preparing for. She revealed her Jewish identity to the king. Then she exposed Haman's evil plot. A wave of shock passed over the king's face. He was furious with Haman for his treachery. He realized the depth of Haman's deception. He had been betrayed by his trusted advisor. Section 9. The Triumph of Courage. The king ordered Haman to be punished. The very gallows Haman had built for Mordecai were used against him. Justice was served. The king issued a new decree. This decree granted the Jewish people the right to defend themselves. They were victorious over their enemies. Esther's courage saved her people. Her story became a testament to the power of faith and bravery.